Order. If there's anybody that would like to speak at the call to the public, please fill out a blue card and give it to Lisa. Lisa, raise your hand. There you go. All right. We ready? All right, welcome. It's nice to see such a crowded room. I love it, and it's not even with kids today. All right, so we're going to call our public hearing meeting to order. It is Wednesday, May 13th. It's 6:31. Lisa, roll call, please.
Patty Coutray.
Present.
Carolyn Lopez.
Present.
Lisa Garcia.
Present.
Ben Owens.
Present.
Shante Rothschild.
Present. All right. So we are having a public hearing on the approval of the fiscal year 2026 budget revision pursuant to ARS 38431-02 and ARS 15-905. Notice is hereby given to members of the governing board and to the general public that the governing board will conduct a public hearing on Wednesday, May 13th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. in the boardroom. And this is in regards to the budget revision. Mr. Harmon.
Good evening, President Coutray, members of the governing board, and Dr. Loebman. The purpose of this presentation is to highlight the final revision of the budget for fiscal year 26. The areas of focus include ADM and our three main funds, M&O, Capital, and Classroom Site Fund. The state funding formula is primarily driven by ADM. For the current fiscal year, our actual ADM is $9,222. When comparing this to the December revision figures of $9,343, we see a difference of 121 ADM. Consequently, our total weighted student count is 14,058, which is 80 lower than our December projections. The bottom table shows the history of our ADM and weighted ADM since fiscal year 20. This is our first year in this time span showing a decrease in ADM. We still have a slight increase in weighted ADM. The majority of the weighted ADM is tied to special education categories. We receive additional funding to help cover the costs for those additional services. Our growth in weighted ADM has typically outpaced our growth in regular ADM. For maintenance and operations, M&O, the general budget limit decreased by $153,623 from the December revision, bringing the total to $87.8 million. This change is mainly due to a $346,000 decrease in the revenue control limit, partially offset by increases of about $40,000 in one-time state aid and $150,000 in one-time free or reduced price lunch funding, or our poverty weight funding. For the capital budget, we have seen an overall increase of $5,500. Key drivers for this is some additional one-time DAA funding, which brings our total unrestricted capital outlay budget limit to a little over $8.7 million. Classroom Site Fund remains unchanged compared to December revision, since this is based on prior year ADM. To summarize, the final revision reflects a net decrease of $148,000 across all three main funds. This brings our combined budget limit for these three funds of $113,229,675. That concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions the board or the public may have.
Board members, does anyone have any questions for Mr. Harmon?
And just to confirm, no additional changes since the last time we reviewed it.
So this is a revision. We haven't seen a revision of this budget since December. So this is really highlighting the differences from the December revision till now.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Harmon, we're in a relatively decent position with growth when you look at some other districts across the valley, right? What we've seen here, would you categorize us as we're in a good financial position, or we're, there's some improvements that need to be made, or kind of where are you kind of thinking, right? This is kind of I ask a similar question to Mr. Beckett, right? When we're talking about HR. You know, my question to him is, Mr. Beckett, how are you feeling about the HR schedule? How are you feeling about where we're at, right? Mr. Harmon, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, overall, we are in a good financial position with our, relative to our overall budget and our reserves. This budget year is a kind of an anomaly. We budgeted for growth. We didn't grow. So that always, you know, it could be better, right, if we grew. But we're not overspending our budget. We are reducing our budget limit, but we're not reducing it below our current spending level. So it's not like we're overspending or dipping in any one-time reserves because of the position that we're in. But growth would have been nice.
Gotcha. Great, thank you.
We didn't grow at all, or we had some growth, just not as much as we had predicted?
We actually reduced in ADM, which is our actual average daily membership of enrollment.
Okay,
Our weighted ADM grew, so that is a positive on our overall budget.
okay,
But that's not in real students, it's in the weights of students based on certain qualifying categories of additional weight. Some weighted categories could equal 4 students in funding weight, but it still is only 1 student. So overall, we decreased in students.
okay.
Mr. Harmon, our online students don't count as a full ADM, correct?
They are counted as a full ADM in the calculation, but they're funded at 0.95%.
So they're not fully funded, but they're counted.
Correct.
So the follow-up question is, why not?
That's the state Arizona online instruction model funds part-time online students at 0.85% or at 85% and full-time online students at 95%. I think the rationale is that it's a little bit less expensive to educate students in an online format instead of a brick and mortar format.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, Mr. Harmon, I'm going to open it up now for public comments. Don't all rush. All right, seeing none, I'm going to adjourn the public hearing. All right, now we're going to have our regular meeting. We're going to call this meeting to order Wednesday, May 13th. It is 6:38. And before we do roll call, I do want to recognize we have some dignitaries in our audience. We have Mayor Nancy Smith. Councilwoman Amber Learman. Former Mayor Tony Smith. And our City Manager Ben Bitter. Thank you for joining us this evening. Lisa, can you please do roll call?
Patty Cotray,
Present?
Carolyn Lopez,
Present.
Lisa Garcia,
Present.
Ben Owens,
Present.
Shante Rothschild.
Present.
Fantastic. And as tradition, since we have spotlight of this, the Spotlight School is MVA, we've asked Principal Mitchell to please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Adoption of the agenda. Board members, do I have any amendments or motions?
Motion to approve is written.
Second.
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens,
Aye.
Lisa Garcia,
Aye.
Carolyn Lopez,
Aye.
Patty Cotray.
Aye. All right, move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Lotman.
Thank you, President Cotray. Recently, Maricopa Unified celebrated the people who keep our schools moving forward every single day. During Teacher Appreciation Week, School Nurses Day, and Classified Staff Appreciation, we recognize the individuals whose work, care, and commitment make a lasting impact across our district. Teachers bring equal parts skill, heart, and hustle. Nurses know when it's a big deal and when it is a Band-Aid and when it's both. And our classified staff, well, they're the reason the lights come on, the wheels keep turning, and the days stay on track. Every role matters, and together they create the kind of schools where people go all in so students can go all out. Maricopa Unified School District is proud to partner with the newly formed Coalition for Arizona Public Schools, a statewide initiative focused on sharing the positive impact of public education and addressing misinformation surrounding Arizona's schools. Communications Director Michelle Terry and I recently participated in a coalition summit alongside education leaders, advocates, and business partners from across the state. MUSD looks forward to advancing the effort to promote transparency, celebrate student success, and champion public education in Arizona. Maricopa Elementary School was named a winner of the Reading is Fundamental Rally to Read sweepstakes, with just 100 schools selected nationwide. The recognition earned a new collection of books for classrooms and library spaces, expanding access to reading resources for nearly 900 K through 5th grade students across the campus. These books won't stay on the shelves for long. Soon they'll be carried in backpacks, opened at kitchen tables, and read under the covers long after bedtime. Maricopa Elementary School, another highlight, hosted a powwow that brought together students, families, and community members in celebration of Native American culture and traditions. The event featured traditional dance performances representing tribal communities from across Arizona and surrounding states. People came from all over, along with music, cultural presentations, and opportunities for community connection. The event was made possible through collaboration with the Native American Advisory Committee and the Maricopa Elementary School PTA, reflecting a shared commitment to honor Native American cultures and traditions while helping students and families. Santa Rosa Elementary School's Hispanic Cultural Night brought language learning to life through the work of its dual language immersion program. The pack came alive with vibrant costumes, music, dancing, and proud families as students confidently sang and spoke in Spanish, many in a language that was not their first. The evening was so powerful, it was such a powerful reflection of Maricopa Unified's Portrait of a Graduate attribute of communicator, with students using language to connect across cultures and confidently take center stage. I was in the front row along with Ms. Rothschild, Ms. Lopez, Mayor Smith, Mr. Smith, and it was so great. It was such a vibrant, amazing show. I'm so thankful I went. And this is one of many celebrations of our Portrait of a Graduate where every kid gets to participate. All means all. Last week, Desert Sunrise High School and Maricopa High School celebrated the achievements of their graduating seniors, of course. Governing board members and high school administration teams presented silver badges of distinction to valedictorians Andrew Wilson of Desert Sunrise High School and Kaya Dobers of Maricopa High School, along with salutatorians Isabel Mosca of Desert Sunrise and Holden Gerke of Maricopa High School. Seniors were also recognized for community awards, military honors, Departmental Student of the Year awards, AP recognition programs, and college scholarships totaling nearly $68 million. The applause was loud, the tassels moved a little closer, and the tassels moved a little closer to the finish line, and for a moment, the room held years of hard work, growth, and possibility all at once. It was 2 great nights. And that's my report.
Thank you, Dr. Loatman. Governing Board member reports. Member Rothschild.
I'll be brief. So first of all, happy Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. One thing that I definitely love about our school district is that we mean all means all, and not just in the academic sense. It's allowing people to bring their authentic self to the workplace and the school place every day. So always proud, but some days are just a little bit prouder to see that. As Dr. Loatman stated, lots of different events that have gone on. I had the privilege to attend the Hispanic Cultural Night. Again, I had to open my Duolingo to understand what some of the youth were saying, but with that, so proud of the those youth just learning a different language. And then in addition, had the opportunity to witness our seniors walk across the stage and accept their awards. They know they're graduating, they're super excited, but that excitement feels new every time. Again, as Dr. Lotman said, as they get closer to that finish line next week. So that's about it. More tears, right? Tears of joy.
Thank you. Member Owens?
Thank you, President Couture. All right, end of the year, it's always busy. If you were here about a month ago, I encouraged our staff, families, and students to keep striving for the finish line, and I related it to a 500-yard swim, right? We got like 10 yards left. 10 yards. So there's finals, there's lots of stuff going on, so just keep swimming for the wall. So since our last meeting, a few things that I've attended. Dr. Lopman mentioned the MHS Senior Awards last Wednesday night. I was able to attend that. Thursday was a busy day. Last Thursday evening, District Color Guard Showcase was held at Desert Wind. Got to see some solos and the full performance of the Desert Wind Color Guard Club. So that was a lot of fun. See all the hard work from those kids come to a fruition there. I'm going to come back to last Thursday. Monday, Mr. Beckett, we held right in here. We held a little retirement party for him, and that was great to hear from some of our staff and the people that Mr. Beckett's kindness and simply showing up every day, how that made a difference in their life. So thank you, Mr. Beckett. So we're going to take a little trip back to last Thursday morning. Mr. Mitchell, who we're going to hear from later, has been bugging me for quite a while to come do a school visit with MVA. Sweet. And we couldn't get the timing worked out. So Dr. Lopman and Mr. Mitchell got everything pulled together for me. And I had a very tight time window. And so we did a virtual MVA school tour. So real quick here, I got to observe a 10th and 11th grade chemistry class taught by Ms. Sharma. And they were talking about acids and bases. So it was kind of fun to see the technology of how the teacher teaches and how the kids interact. And it's not just something where the kids are sitting behind a screen. They're actively engaged. And I know that those kids, for just introducing acids and bases, know that better than I do. So some of the takeaways for me was the vision budget and seeing how the vision budget that the district provides to our schools help them get the technology that they needed to make all this stuff, to make the interaction work, to make it better. And that was really great. I would encourage board members to jump in. The teacher would not let Mr. Mitchell, Dr. Lopman, or myself not participate.
Did you get the answers right?
I did not get the answers right. No, I definitely did not. It was really great though to see. So next year, when we're back in session. We'll have to get on that, so. We're almost done with the school year. I've said a lot. Congratulations. Keep going. That's it.
Thank you, Member Owens. Member Garcia.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. For myself, I want to start off by saying a big thank you and appreciation to the teachers and the teaching staff. I know it was Teacher Appreciation Week not too long ago, and as Board Member Owens stated, we don't get to visit all of your schools and all of your classes as much as we'd like to, but we know you all are doing a great job. We're seeing it in our scores and in the students' progress. So with that, I want to say thank you. Your hard work and efforts are truly appreciated. And also, hang in there. You got a week to go. You're almost there at the finish line. So again, don't give up yet. Don't give up yet. And other events that I've attended was the Senior Awards Night at the MHS PAC facility. I also attended the Santa Rosa Hispanic Cultural event. That was an awesome event to be part of, to see the pride in not only the students' faces and their efforts, but their families, and to hear them supporting them and cheering for them, calling out their names and all of that. That was a great experience. So if you have not seen that, I encourage you to attend when it does come up. And also I attended Mr. Beckett's retirement. And again, congratulations to you. Thank you for your 18 years of dedication to the district and your, I believe, 40 years to the education, to education in general. You are indeed a role model and an asset. You will be missed, but hopefully we'll see you around. So again, thank you for your tenure here. And again, thank you for all those that are here tonight joining us. I'm sure you could have had other things to be doing. So thank you for being here with us. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Vice President Lopez.
Thank you, President Cotray. So first, I have been out for a couple weeks, and I've missed being here and seeing you all. I have had a major surgery, so I've been home healing, or trying to, as best I can. It's really hard to sit still and not do anything. I did get a chance to do a couple things. I went to MES's first grade spring concert. That was so cute, and they have nice little set of, I don't know even know what to call them, a bleacher set? Is that what they are called? Risers, thank you. So much better. I can see all the kids. It was great, so cute. I loved it. I loved it. And then I went to their kindergarten, one of two kindergarten graduations, and that was wonderful. Seeing all the parents being so excited to see their little ones walking down the aisle. I can just picture, in the future when they're seniors and being able to see them at that point. Other than that, I don't have much. I have more planned later in the week and for next week of all the events, but yeah, thank you, all the teachers. I know last week was the appreciation, and thank you, Mr. Beckett, for your service. And that's all I have.
Thank you. I am so humbled just to listen to this board, how active you all are at our events. And it is so great to hear, because we all can't be at all the events all the time together. And it humbles me that we're such a great community-oriented board. And so thank you, board members, as well. One of the activities that came up that I was able to attend was Desert Sunrise High School had College Decision Day. Mm-hmm. And that was a really cool event. It wasn't for kids. Well, one student did sign an athletic commitment letter, but most of it was just the kids that decided what schools they were going to go to. We had Sparky there from ASU, and then it was just great that the kids, they got to come down by the table that for their school when they got called out, and it was just really great to see the number of graduates that are committed to continue that education. So it was really cool. I want to see, I can't wait to see how this develops in the future. And then I did attend the MHS and the Desert Sunrise Honor Nights as well. I was not able to attend some of the events that started this week because I was home ill. So, Mr. Beckett, I apologize for not being at your retirement party. Thank you for your service. 18 years, yes, wow. School's going to be over before we know it. Families that still are looking for opportunities for your kids during summer break so they're not sitting in front of video games. MUSD has a summer break camp as well as Boys and Girls Club, who we partner with. So please look into those programs. You can actually find them online, musd20.org for ours, and bgcsuncorridor.org for the Boys and Girls Club. They're affordable programs, and they'll really inspire our kids to continue the learning that they've done in a very fun and affordable way. So with that, we're going to move on to our retiree recognition. Dr. Lotman.
Thank you, President Coutre. Tonight, we celebrate the lasting contributions of our retirees on behalf of the governing board and the entire district. Thank you for the time, energy, and heart that you brought to your work. Your legacy lives on in every classroom, every hallway, and every life that you have touched. At this time, I'd like to invite our governing board members to join me down on the floor as we recognize these extraordinary careers. And now I'll turn it over to our communications director, Michelle Terry, to introduce each of our retirees.
Well, welcome everyone. Tonight, I have the distinct pleasure of celebrating some truly remarkable individuals with you. Those who have donated many years to serving the students of Maricopa Unified School District. As they step into a new chapter filled with travel and grandchildren, hobbies, and no alarm clocks, we take this moment to honor them. I'm proud to recognize this wonderful group of educators and professional support staff. Whatever your role, I assure you, you've made a difference in the lives of our students. On behalf of our superintendent and the Maricopa Unified School District Governing Board and the nearly 9,900 students we serve, I extend to each of you our heartfelt gratitude and appreciation. And now it gives me great pleasure to present the Maricopa Unified School District's retirees. Please come forward when I read your name and receive your recognition and pose for a group photo. Congratulations to Liz Kelch, counselor from Maricopa High School with 5 years of service. Charlotte Nakadene, counselor from Maricopa High School, 5 years of service. Sean Bonk, technology integration specialist from the district office, 5 years of service. Brenda Reed, certified occupational therapy assistant from Maricopa Elementary School with 9 years of service. Anna Post, technology integration specialist from the district office, 10 years of service. And Nancy Taylor, administrative assistant from Maricopa High School, 11 years of service. And Peggy Woidle, kindergarten teacher from elementary school, 14 years of service. And Jane Tift, academic coach from Saddleback Elementary School, 18 years of service. Tom Beckett, assistant superintendent of human resources, 18 years of service. Catherine Jones, first grade teacher from Maricopa Elementary School, 19 years of service. Amber Learman, mental health counselor from Maricopa High School, 20 years of service. And Darlene Jenkins, first grade teacher from Butterfield Elementary School, 20 years of service. And Shannon Hall, blended learning teacher from Desert Wind Middle School, 21 years of service. And some of our retirees could not be with us tonight, but we would still like to take a moment to recognize them for their service. Patricia Blaney, ESS paraprofessional, Santa Rosa Elementary School with 3 years of service. Nancy Yazzie, third grade teacher from Butterfield Elementary School with 4 years of service. James Brzezinski, fourth grade teacher from Santa Rosa Elementary School, 8 years of service. And Maureen Tobin, ESS paraprofessional, Maricopa High School, 12 years of service. And Guadalupe Leon, maintenance generalist from the maintenance and grounds crew, 18 years of service. Retirees, thank you again for your service to our district. We wish you well in your next venture in life and many relaxing days filled with laughter, good health, and happiness. Congratulations and best wishes on your retirement. Governing Board and Dr. Loatman, please join us on the stage for a group photo. Congratulations. And we'll now take a 5-minute break for those of you who joined us for the celebration, after which we'll begin the business portion of our meeting.
I know, I was chit-chatting.
All right. That was so much fun, recognizing and celebrating all of our retirees. We're going to move on to our information item, which is our classroom spotlight with the Maricopa Virtual Academy. Principal Mitchell.
So good evening, President Cotray, members of the governing board, and Dr. Lopman. I'm excited to be here to brag a little bit about MVA and some of the things that we're doing around increasing math proficiency and just learning throughout a digital platform. Of course, it aligns to our district's strategic plan. Goal 1, every student graduates. And Goal 2, access and equity. It also aligns with our portrait of a graduate, specifically critical, actually all of them, but tonight we're going to highlight more of the critical thinking aspect of portrait of a graduate. And so before I talk about the improving the mathematical practices, just kind of the thinking behind what led to this. So after reviewing our AASA data from last school year, we had to figure out ways to continuously improve and reimagine what online learning looks like. And so part of that was just making sure students felt connected to the content, had access to interact with their teachers within the platforms. And so part of that, through the use of Project Momentum and our vision budget, we were able to send our math and ELA teachers to a singleton PLCs. So singleton just means that they're the only ones that teach their content area at our school. So one math teacher, one ELA teacher, one science teacher. And the uniqueness of that is that they don't necessarily have people to collaborate with. And so part of that process was sending them to the statewide PLCs where they met with other teachers that were also singleton. So not just virtual, just if you had a smaller school, and you only had one math teacher, one science teacher, it brought them all together to collaborate and work on. So the GEARS framework, specifically GEARS 1 and 3. And again, we wanted to increase the high impact instructional practices throughout all of that. So next, I'm going to call up Ms. Delgado, who is our math teacher at MVA.
Good evening, everyone. It has been both a privilege and a pleasure to participate in the statewide Math PLC over the past 2 years. Through this experience, I found a community of math educators to collaborate with, something truly meaningful as a singleton teacher. This year, our team focused on GEARS 1 and 3, student learning goals, and high-impact instructional practices such as academic discourse, purposeful collaborative work, and promoting productive struggle by rescuing less. In this video, you will see me use an e-glass to deliver a lesson aligned to an Algebra 1 state standard where students interpret differences in shape, center, and spread in the context of data sets, accounting for possible effects of outliers if present. Intentional questions and conversational strategies are done to facilitate student-centered discussions where they explain their reasoning, build on ideas, and justify their answers. Let's watch this.
What if a student joins this group and earns $800 monthly from part-time jobs? How does this added value compare to the rest of the data values in this data set? 800.
Most data values are in the 200s, while 800 is not and is much greater than the 200s.
Thanks, Ariana. I love that you described first most of the data values in the data set. And then what do you call again that data value that's extremely greater or lower compared to the rest?
An outlier.
An outlier. Thank you, Ariana. Now that there's an outlier, what would happen if there is now the presence of an outlier in our data set? So
the measure wouldn't look the same as it does right now.
Which measures do you think wouldn't look the same? All of them?
Although it's not seen on the video, the students were then sent to breakout rooms working in groups to see the effects of an outlier to the measure of center. Students were strategically placed with peers with various skill levels based on their diagnostic test results and teacher observations to benefit from diverse perspectives and promote stronger peer support. Their task was designed to shift the culture from traditional group work to collaborative learning. Students follow collaborative norms and assign clear roles for shared accountability to promote high interdependence. This increased engagement and allowed students to learn from each other, which improved their problem-solving skills. And when students struggle, I catch the habit of rescuing, which can make them fragile, and instead use nudge questions to scaffold thinking. This approach allows space for productive struggle and perseverance. These shifts led to noticeable growth in both understanding and performance. This class demonstrated exceptional mathematical growth with plus 109 increase in IXL, which means that our students have met the essential standard for one grade level. This data highlights how much learning progress students have made from the beginning of the school year through their most recent benchmark assessment, showing that our students have gained at least one grade level in their math skill proficiency. All in all, applying all of these practices helps students build confidence in sharing their mathematical thinking, recognize different perspectives and solution strategies, and identify errors as reflected in the student and parent feedback. Over time, these strategies traditionally done in a face-to-face setting, now successfully adapted to virtual learning, have elevated students' math mastery. Thank you.
So she talked about some of the celebrating the achievements, and we have a quote from a student that feels more comfortable talking to their classmates. Again, open questions. We also have a parent testimony, is that her daughter feels that Ms. Delgado gives examples of everyday objects or tasks that better connects them to what they're going to learn. And so part of it is, again, that gap bridging with kids, well, why am I learning this? And so in an online environment, there's a lot more distractions at home, whether get up and go to the refrigerator and on their phones. And so being able to connect to the content just draws them in and allows for not just Ms. Delgado, my whole team to better present and have those kids buy into what we're doing in the classroom. Next, some of the future goals and next steps. So part of this is everything that we're doing and implementing is all about increasing student achievement. And so we definitely want to stay on that upward trajectory, making sure that in all content areas, kids are continuing to progress. And that starts with also the PLC model. So as I talked about before, it's only this year was for math and ELA. So next year we're hoping to get history and science as well. Again, continue to grow our enrollment. I personally think that MBA is the gold standard of what online learning looks like. And so I want all the kids that are at all the other schools just to come to our school. I feel like it's the best. We also are going to be expanding our AP courses for next year, as well as just program enhancements in general. So next year we'll allow students to participate in ROTC and band on a case-by-case basis. So that way, again, we're not minimizing some of their extracurricular things, as well as not suffering at all in their academics as well. And then again, continue. We have a 98% graduation rate. The goal is 100. So I'm hopeful to get there this school year. I'm sure we will. But then again, continue to just progress in all things and continue to reimagine what online learning looks like year to year. And then, yeah, any questions that I can answer?
Board members?
So as someone who has struggled with math in the past, I shudder to think about having an online math class. And so with that, the students that you showed seem to really be engaged. So one, do you find that same level of engagement outside of math? And if so, what is it that you're doing that is developing or bringing that level of engagement?
Yes, I think we do see that across all content areas. I think it's just, again, connecting it, making it more personable. And also starts with building relationships. Dr. Lotman gave me a great opportunity to build my staff. And so each person was hired specifically for their skill set and maximizing what that would look like. Again, part of being online is because of there's so many other distractions, you personally have to be engaging. Kids have to want to come to your class, and that starts with the relationship that you've built with them, and then also the content that we're delivering. Again, we can't just sit up there, and I think there's a huge misunderstanding or misconceptions that virtual students just kind of are, you're there on the computer, and we offer asynchronous, just means not live, where you're doing work outside of your teacher, but then also synchronous sessions where they're actually meeting with their classroom teacher with lesson plans that they created and that engagement aspects of it. So I think it's just incorporating all of those things to continue to push them to be motivated to come and participate.
Thank you.
I have one.
Go ahead. No, go.
The vision budget that Ben talked about earlier, is that what we saw in one of those tools that we were watching, is that board that she was writing on? What is that?
So it's called an e-glass machine, and that started with Christine when she was still our IT director. So, hey, Marcus, I think this will be amazing. Like, you should try it out and check it out. So we went to a training, and we kind of looked at what the implications around this could be with ours, because it does so many things. For ELA, they can highlight text and underline and create circle maps and all kind of things that it allows you to do. So yes, that was bought through our Vision Fund. So thank you to the governing board for allowing us that flexibility to see things that we feel like can make an impact, and then allowing us to just utilize it. It came with training, so all the teachers were trained on how to use it specifically, and again, just what it looks like.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to sit down and play with it.
Okay.
Or come watch somebody.
It's an expensive tool to play with.
Yes.
I applaud you for finding a PLC that fits for your school, because I know that that was one of the things that we had talked about as a board, making sure that the professional development matched the type of school, the asynchronous, the synchronous teaching that you were doing online. And so I applaud you, and I support your future efforts to expand it to all courses. I think that'll be an amazing asset for your teachers, and that will resonate with your students. So thank you.
You mentioned that, or maybe I didn't hear correctly, that the students gained 1 grade level. So with that, can you talk to me a little bit about where the students were before? Were they on par? Were there some that were a little behind and then caught up? Just a little.
So that IXL data that you've seen is actually like an overall growth. So students, when they took their diagnostic tests, were like in varying grade levels based on the results of their benchmark test. So after, all throughout the school year, after they took their most recent benchmark, wherever they were from the beginning of the school year, what's important and what matters most is that they're actually leveling up to at least 1 grade level. So yes, like whether they were like on a 7th grade level before, 8th grade level before, that 1 grade level improvement is making a huge difference, just showing how much growth they have gained all throughout the school year.
Thank you.
Just to add a little bit to that, IXL is used as an intervention tool. So when they're doing the synchronous and asynchronous sessions, it's all grade level material. So that's specifically used as intervention to help build that foundation. So that way, especially with math, you kind of build on top. And so if those bottom layers, your Jenga's gonna fall over. And so IXL just allows us to fill in those blocks to make sure students can perform on the state assessments at grade level.
What are your areas that you feel that you can grow the most in, especially with math moving forward? Is that engagement with students? Is that, I don't know, teacher principal? I mean, you're...
Piggyback on that. I think so. Growth is not necessarily linear, so I feel like in all aspects of online we can continue to grow. So not just in math, that's ELA, history, science, grow and building relationships. Learning in itself is, unique. Some kids, how you learn, what interests you, and so for us, it's just about continuing to plant that intellectual seed and making sure that they have the right soil, the right water, so that every student can then blossom to be an exceptional learner. So to answer it directly, it's all areas of what that looks like, specifically with math. As a former math teacher, I think it's just those foundation skills. I think when kids come to us, and just in general, they're all at different levels. And she has a very unique job because she teaches 6th through 12th grade. And so finding that balance of making sure each individual group grows, but then collectively we're continuing to grow as a program. Didn't know if that answered. No.
I believe increasing engagement increases everything. Like when a student is engaged, then they have fun learning, and so they become, they enjoy attending class and they learn better just because they feel connected to the lesson and feel engaged in the classroom. So when we increase engagement, we increase their proficiency. Thank you.
Great, thank you. If I can just add a little bit. So after I sat in with the chemistry class, right, I was telling my family about this a little bit, right? And that it kind of pigtail or spun off into discussions about some of my daughter's teachers that they've had here, in particular, because that's where, we've got experience, right? And what they kept bringing up is that engagement and the relating it to something that's practical. Every teacher, principal here knows that. But when you can do that, that light bulb goes on. Sometimes you can almost hear it, right? And that's kind of fun when that happens. So being able to engage and with kids that aren't sitting physically in front of you, that's a challenge, and I applaud you for doing that.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
Again, just a comment, and I want to say, again, also thank you for your efforts in reaching out those students. When the pandemic hit, it was new to everybody. Online learning was new to, especially students at this level, whether it's elementary, middle school, or high school. But we also noticed that some of our students thrive a little bit better in the online classrooms versus the in-person classrooms. So for myself, I want to commend you guys for continuing that effort and providing that resource or that source for our students who, again, are excelling on the online classes or within those classes, and affording them the education that, again, they're most comfortable in, the learning environment that they are most comfortable in. Everybody learns differently, but again, you have a challenge ahead, and again, keeping them engaged and their attention, and also having to modify it from 6th grade to 12th grade. Wow, those are different. Their minds are different. Their learning's different. But again, thank you for what you're doing in continuing those efforts. And again, but most importantly, creating an outlet and a resource for the students who are, again, more comfortable in that setting and providing that setting for them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, we're at the call to the public. We have 2 speaker cards, so I must read this. Members of the board may not discuss items that are not specifically identified on the agenda. Therefore, pursuant to ARS 38431.01, action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, responding to any criticism, or scheduling the matter for a future agenda. The board requests that all comments be limited to 3 minutes or less, and that the public refrain from the use of speech or language that is offensive or inappropriate pursuant to Board Procedure 3-203. Our first speaker is Rof Randa.
Good evening. My name is Ro Ferranda and my son is Axel. I'm returning tonight because this district affects my child. The school district, per its website, is responsible for the education of 9,900 students across 11 schools. It employs 1,200 people and has an $83 million budget, and I'm back to hold accountability. It took me 3 years of asking, speaking out a month ago, and several meetings with the superintendent of academic services to obtain his records. I got them today, minus progress reports and report cards, which the district is telling me we don't have them. It's illegal per ARS 15-241. Dr. Lopman called me earlier today in efforts to hear me. It was a productive conversation, and I appreciate that. She said she'd get back to me. However, words and actions aligned previously haven't just worked out. Of the records I've received, Axel's MET reports are out of compliance with no up-to-date testing or observations, but instead all 3 reports reference our 2021 neuropsych evaluation, as I've previously stated, that we have provided to the school. That's 4 school psychologists, a principal, and 3 SPED directors, pushing papers, holding titles, filling positions, and cashing in on paychecks for an incomplete report. 3 of them. Where's the accountability? You have failed my son. Also, the district nurse, not once but twice, has changed our son's seizure action plan to suit her comfortability. And by change, I mean filled out a new form, missing pertinent information and changing prescription information, using a different doctor, all without my signature or permission, actions which are illegal per ARS 32-601 and the Parents' Bill of Rights, which is ARS-1-601. This district nurse continuously singles out my son when he simply falls on the playground or gets injured, maybe in a PT session, referencing his seizure action plan, which hasn't changed in 4 years per our epileptologist orders, as he's 3 years and 2 months seizure-free, thank you, Jesus. I'm calling for accountability and an investigation. And Saddleback, quite honestly, deserves a new principal. For far too long, things have been swept under the rug, fallen through the cracks, and I'm here to hold accountability. She doesn't know the structure of an IEP, nor how to get proper documentation to parents, and I'm proof of that. Mislabeling assault as bullying.
Our next speaker, Tina Dugan.
Good evening. My name is Tina Dugan, and I am a candidate for Maricopa City Council. I am here tonight because, and I'm going to get emotional, it's an emotional night. Maricopa Unified School District has been an important part of my life for many years. I volunteered with the district for more than 20 years, and all 4 of my children attended Maricopa Unified School District schools, and all 4 graduated from Maricopa High School. Seeing so many retirees recognized tonight was both heartwarming and bittersweet. Several of those amazing educators and staff being honored touched the lives of my children in meaningful ways. And they helped shape the adults that my kids are today. And that's what I'm thankful for this school district for. As a parent, there are few gifts greater than knowing your children were guided by people who truly cared about them. I'm a realtor, small business owner, wife, mom, grandma, and longtime community volunteer. I'm running for city council because I care deeply about public safety education, transportation, and making sure that residents have a voice in the decisions that affect their daily lives. Thank you to all of the teachers, staff, and retirees for the difference you've made in the lives of so many families. Your work matters more than you will ever know.
Thank you. All right, consent agenda. Members, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild.
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye.
Lisa Garcia.
Aye.
Cameron Lopez.
Aye.
Patty Cotray.
Aye. All right, first action item, discussion and possible approval of the personnel schedule. Mr. Beckett.
Thank you, President Coutray, members of the Governing Board, and Dr. Loban. We have a busy personnel schedule in front of you tonight. I will take any of your questions you have at this point.
Board members, any questions?
I do have a couple of introductions after we're finished.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Beckett.
Yes, Member Owens.
So you are correct. So looking at this, we do have a pretty good list. We honored some retirees. Thank you to all the retirees. And some possibly coming back through programs that are available, I hope, right?
Correct, yes.
Sweet, love that. How are you feeling going into next year at this point, Mr. Beckett?
Thank you, Member Owens. I appreciate you asking, as always. Continue to chip away at it. We actually broke the 20 barrier today, so we're 18 openings in the general ed classrooms, and we have 6 special education openings still. So I feel good. I feel good about where we're at. I know people are still working hard and doing lots of interviews and screenings, and so I'm very optimistic. We'll be ready.
Good deal. Ms. Pastor, I do believe that you can expect the same question when you step into Mr. Beckett's role.
Are there any motions?
Make a motion to approve if there's no other discussion or questions.
Second.
Lisa, I have a motion, a second.
Shante Rothschild.
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye.
Lisa Garcia.
Aye.
Carolyn Lopez.
Aye.
Patty Coutray.
Aye. Go ahead, Mr. Beckett.
Thank you, President Coutray. I have a couple of introductions tonight. I'd like to start out with Tesha Anderson. Tesha, if you'd stand, please. Desert Wind Middle School, our new Dean of Students there. And then I'd also like to introduce Tammy Carter and also her beautiful family is here tonight. Tammy will be our teacher on assignment at Santa Cruz Elementary School. So welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beckett. Discussion possible approval of the Arizona Board of Regents intergovernment agreement. Dr. Scott.
Good evening, President Coutray, members of the board. I am here as a recommendation from our office that we approve the Board of Regents, IGA, and I'm here to take any questions.
Dr. Scott, can you explain what that is?
Absolutely. This is an opportunity that our Desert Sunrise High School College and Career Specialist reached out and applied for it's called Fall by 50 project, and it provides incentives and curriculum resources to increase our FAFSA numbers and be able to provide our students opportunities to increase their scholarships, their Pell Grants opportunities, so that whatever their post-secondary plans are, they have access to monies to help afford that.
I have one question. Are they going to be able to use these funds into next school year?
They will be. We have confirmed that the funds that we will receive this year will be able to utilize for next year so that we can continue increasing our numbers. At the senior awards night, Ms. Kriegerbaum talked about how she was at above 60%, and her goal is to get over 75%, and this monies will be able to utilize that.
Are there any other questions or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild.
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye.
Lisa Garcia.
Aye.
Carolyn Lopez.
Aye.
Patty Coutray.
Aye. Must be your night, Dr. Scott. Discussion and possible approval of the Arizona Assessment Collaborative's intergovernmental agreement.
Thank you very much. I'll talk a little bit about background about this. This is for us to be a part of the AZAC, they call it, the Arizona Assessment Collaboration, and it provides our team members, Dina in particular, Brandy, Gretchen, Mona, Wade, are able to attend with other directors of assessment to really stay up to date as to what's coming and what's moving forward in the assessment world at the state level. Members of this collaboration are also part of the technical advisory team with the state, where they make direct assessment suggestions, and we are now able to be a part of that through this. It's very exciting.
I love the fact that we can be a part of that conversation before it impacts us.
Thank you.
And if I read correctly, the cost is only less than $1,100 a year?
Yes.
Okay.
It's about 1 cent a student.
That's doable. Board members, any questions?
Motion to approve if there's no questions.
Second.
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens,
Aye.
Lisa Garcia,
Aye.
Carolyn Lopez,
Aye.
Patty Cotray.
Aye. All right. You had 3 for 3. You're not going anywhere. Nice try.
I'm sorry, I thought there was one before.
We're going to approve the 26-27 MUSD supplemental instructional materials. That's also you, Dr. Scott. I know I had asked that this be on the action item agenda. I just wanted to make sure that we were being fully transparent in all the curriculum. So, got anything to add?
I have 2 questions.
Go for it.
One, does, in our supplemental curriculum, because I know we approved curriculum earlier this year, our Spalding cards that families get,
The phonogram.
is that in supplemental, or now because it's core, has it moved to, now because the state now recognizes it, has it moved or shifted?
It's part of our core.
Perfect. And all families get it?
Yep.
Okay. I'm so excited about that. And then the Tier 3 behavior curriculum and parent training, what does that involve?
All right. It involves, we have access to a streaming platform that provides our teachers with a comprehensive lesson plan manuals, also different activities that will be utilized in our Tier 3 program. So it's really all of those essential curriculum needs that our Tier 3 program teachers will need to be able to utilize with our students. It's not student materials, it's more that teacher materials.
Okay. Okay. And then the parenting training?
Yes, we were also subscribed for that parenting, to provide parents that parenting workshop opportunities so that we can provide training for our parents also.
And is that looking more to be, I guess what I'm getting at is the consistency. If you're doing one thing at home and something else at school and something else maybe at church, that we can get some of these things to be the same school and home.
Absolutely.
And teaching parents how to utilize those things that the teachers are utilizing and the things that work, right?
Absolutely, all research-based
Okay.
opportunities. And again, that's that synergy that we're really looking for. It takes a village, as they say, and it takes our schools working with our parents so that we're all saying that same thing.
Thank you, Dr. Scott.
Absolutely.
Any other questions?
If there's no questions, motion to approve?
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens,
Aye.
Lisa Garcia,
Aye.
Carolyn Lopez,
Aye.
Patty Cotray.
Aye. Thank you. All right. Discussion and possible approval of the fiscal year 2026 budget revision. Mr. Harmon.
Thank you, President Gutray, members of the board, and Dr. Lopman. So we had our public hearing at the beginning of the meeting. This is the action item to approve our final revision for fiscal year 26.
Board members, are there any additional questions or motions?
If there's no additional questions, I motion to approve.
Second.
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens,
Aye.
Lisa Garcia,
Aye.
Carolyn Lopez,
Aye.
Patty Cotray.
Aye. Oh, now it looks like it's your turn to stay up here for a while. Okay. Discussion and possible approval of the JOC contract up and above threshold purchase. Mr. Harmon?
Thanks again, President Gutray, members of the board, Dr. Lopman. This item before you is for a job order contract approval for Pueblo Mechanical for the central plant at Maricopa High School. This is really a brand new central plant at Maricopa High School. About 70% of the campus is currently on a central plant for heating and cooling. This is a new plant, a new control system, plus real redundancy, first-time redundancy. It also ties into our construction project at Maricopa High School for the workforce development and the gym renovation project. This will be a combination of bond funds, about 2.3 million from bond and 1.5 million from our district local funds to fund this project. The central plant was assessed, it's beyond useful life. Plus we had some damages a couple of years ago, and it's really been held together by, chewing gum and baling wire.
Duct tape.
So we really seek your approval for this project.
Mr. Harmon, on the bond dollars, any bond money that we spend on something like this, if it should go bad or need repairs, and let's say, just for giggles and grins, the state actually starts funding us again for that kind of stuff, what percentage of that is not going to be covered by anything from the state?
That's a great question. Typically, when we build a space that's a combination of local funds and state grant funds, that's really when the building renewal grant question comes into play. I think was the heart of your question. Can we put in a building renewal grant for this replacement? This central plant, if the state had funds, we potentially could have sought a grant for that. Heating, cooling, the challenges are timing, and the state budget right now, it's not an option.
No.
Plus the timing of our overall construction project. This is, the central plant is already on the books. This is still a project or a portion of our building that could be a future building renewal grant. That doesn't change the scope of that. The central plant was built with some deficiency corrections dollars. So this is still a potential future building renewal grant for repair or replacement in the future, pending state capital funding.
Perfect.
Okay.
I love to hear that.
Hopefully that was a mouthful. Sorry, I got there.
You did.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Anybody else? Okay. Backing on what she said, is there any warranties for this, and for how long? And then what's the life expectancy on this one?
This one's the original.
Those are great questions. There is a warranty. I don't have that. I'll get that for the board. I apologize for not having that ready. It probably is in a packet, so I'll read through that and see if I can get that to you tonight. Central Plant's really, this new system should be a 20-year system. They're very efficient with the redundancies. Obviously systems go down, but we'll have 3 full towers, 3 full chillers. For the whole history of this campus, we've only had 2 towers and 2 chillers. And we've had issues with those, being up or down. So we'll have full redundancy. If we do have a tower and chiller go down, we'll be able to operate the way we have the last 20 years. So, but I'll get the information on warranty and how that looks.
And then sorry, I thought of one other question. If there's new technology in there anywhere, are we gonna have the contractors service it if we ever do need it worked on, or are we training our maintenance people to take care of it?
Also a good question, and there's pros and cons to a package unit system, like what's similar to what's on a house. Most of our campuses are run with package units, and there's some pros and cons. We know how to work on them. Our HVAC techs are certified in that level of Freon. Our techs are not certified for central plants. It's a different level of certification. So we're not unlike all districts that have central plants. We schedule maintenance, preventative maintenance done by a third party for that central plant. We'll continue to do that on an annual basis.
Okay.
And if there are repair needs, we do have to hire that out, which is one of the downfalls of central plants. When they go out, our guys don't know how to work on them, but they are more efficient. And with this new system, it should have very little need for troubleshooting outside of annual preventative maintenance. They're also much more efficient on an energy usage throughout the year to help offset any potential costs that come along with having to contract out services.
Thank you.
This is a hard cost, right? This isn't not to exceed kind of a thing, right?
Yeah, the this is very similar to a GMP that we have through our construction manager at risk. This is a high water mark. Built into this number will be some contingencies.
Yep.
And it will not exceed this number.
Yep, great. If there's no other questions, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild.
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye.
Lisa Garcia.
Aye.
Calendar Lopez.
Aye.
Patty Cotray.
Aye. All right, Mr. Harmon. Third time's a charm. Discussion and possible approval of recommended food service meal changes.
All right, thanks again, President Coutre, members of the board, and Dr. Lopman. So we have an action item before you to approve the recommended food service meal charges for fiscal year 27. Before the discussion and possible approval, we'd like to share some updated information. We've added some additional detail to this slide on the current economics that have led us to where we are today. We've increased our labor costs with 5 to 7% annual raises since 2019 for an 8-year total of 48%. In that same time period, we've seen steady increases in the cost of health insurance without passing that cost off to our employees. That's 23% in just the last 2 years alone. In that same 8-year period, Arizona's averaged a 4.46% annual inflation for a total of 36%. In 2019, our lunch meal price was $3.50 and breakfast was served at no charge. We increased our lunch meal price by 25 cents or 7% in July of 2022. We've been able to go this long without raising prices due to some cash surpluses in the food service fund, as well as COVID relief funding stimulus throughout COVID that ended in 2024. The relief funding did. Now that the COVID relief funding is over and our cash surpluses are nearly gone, we're finally facing the true cost of this program. This is also a revisited slide. The deficits on this slide don't really do justice to the true health of the program. This only accounts for food costs, labor, and indirect costs. This does not account for staff professional development, investments into improvements in the child nutrition program, and it also doesn't account for furniture or equipment purchases needed for depreciation, damage, or growth. So again, the driver of our program and our budget is student meals. We serve nearly 1 million lunches and nearly 500,000 breakfasts annually. 3 out of 4 lunches and 2 out of 3 breakfasts are provided to our free or reduced students. You can see here 229,000 lunches were served to paid students and 161,000 breakfasts were served to paid students at no charge. So paid students, that's our full pay or our non-eligible students, are those that either do not qualify for free or reduced price meals through the federal income guidelines or have not applied for those programs. Annual numbers are kind of big and scary. So let's break down those numbers into kind of a typical day. So here you can see in red, the number of paid lunches served is about 127 per school per day, and the number of paid breakfasts served is about 90 per school per day. We were asked to share some information on neighboring district prices. These are current year prices of 8 districts compared to our current and recommended prices. I'll pause here just for a couple of seconds. We can come back during the question portion here if need be. We were also asked to show some options for meal price adjustments. The top 2 rows are the current administrative recommendations. These recommendations keep the food service program healthy without supplementing from M&O. We added 4 additional options for breakfast meal prices from no charge up to $2 in 50-cent increments. If we keep breakfast at no charge, we're looking at an impact to M&O of approximately $320,000 next year. For every 50-cent increase in the breakfast price, the impact to M&O is reduced by approximately $80,000. This estimated impact is only for fiscal year 27. The impact is expected to increase by 3 to 5% a year due to the same economic conditions mentioned in the first slide. That includes the presentation. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Go ahead.
Have a few.
Please.
I am the type of person just rip the Band-Aid off. Just do it. Get it over with. I don't want to be here again year after year, adding more and more and keep, it's frustrating, right? Everything costs more right now. How often are we going to end up needing to do this? Let's say we just rip the Band-Aid off and we're doing the first option and doing that 50-cent increase instead of stepping up. With inflation, with the rise of costs, when will we be back here again?
That's a great question. If we go with the administrative recommendation, the hope is that it buys us at least a couple of years.
Okay.
We'll see how time goes. Our prices are going to go up every single year. And you can either increase them annually by a small portion and then see how that works, or we can kind of do what we do with a lot of our prices where we hold them stagnant for, 5 years or more. I mean, we haven't raised our student fees for a
Right.
long time, and we'll feel a similar pressure on those things when we don't raise our prices more frequently, because the cost of doing business goes up every year.
Right.
So a couple of years is what the hope is. It could be 2 or 3, and we'll evaluate it as the years go on.
Okay. I'm really proud of us for making the COVID money last so long and what we've been able to do. That is an accomplishment. So I don't want to take away from that either. Facebook has been loaded with stuff. So I need to make a couple things very clear for parents out there and all of the comments that are happening. This is going to affect a very small percentage of our students, correct?
About 40% of our students do not qualify or have not applied for free and reduced price lunch.
Okay, so not very small, but less than half.
Right, but
Okay.
if I may, I
Please.
want to, that's why we checked into how many of the 40%
Yep.
actually are eating in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
And it's, you saw those numbers in red, and I think getting that scale is helpful.
Very much. And this does not affect in any way the free and reduced lunch program and what they pay or not pay, right?
That
Well,
is
the
correct.
reduced amount will still be the same amount. All of that will still be the same, right?
Yeah. For right now, our reduced kids don't pay anything either. The state actually funds us the difference between the reduced rate.
Oh, nice.
So our free and our reduced students both pay nothing.
Nothing.
And will continue to do so.
Perfect. And then lastly, just to reinforce, we're not going to let kids go hungry either.
That is correct.
Right?
We never let kids go hungry.
So if they can't afford this, but they also don't, make just over the price it is to qualify for free and reduced, because that's a federal program, that's not our program. Ultimately, nobody has to be scared that their child's gonna go hungry.
Yeah, we never turn a child away. If they come and they have no money on their books, they still walk away with our alternative meal, which is a very generous meal. For lunch, it's a turkey and cheese deli sandwich with a fruit and a vegetable and a milk.
Yep, basic and simple, but they're not gonna be hungry. And I think that's the piece of it that I just wanna make very clear, is that I think a lot of people just got scared that they're gonna have hungry kids, then they can't learn, and then behaviors increase again, and I just want people to know that, no, we're not going to let kids go hungry no matter what.
And it would be the same for breakfast. If we start charging for breakfast,
Okay.
there will still be an alternative meal. That'll be some sort of an entree, a muffin or a bagel, as well
Okay.
as a fruit and a milk.
Thank you, Mr. Herman.
Just a couple of things. So to piggyback on Member Lopez's statement, this isn't something new as far as feeding students if they don't have money to pay. So this isn't a new process when it comes to supporting students. We're already doing that with lunch, correct?
That's
If a
correct.
student arrives today, we're already providing that resource. So one, I applaud you having this conversation. I know it was not easy. It wasn't easy when you brought this to us as a board. It hasn't been easy for us either. It's our job, one of the roles as a governing board member, to be fiscally responsible. Lucky for us, we as a district has been awarded fiscal responsibility awards thanks to you and your staff. And so the fact that when you brought this to us, it hit our emotionals, as people, we care about that. To your point of sharing with the public, what stood out to me is if we don't do something. And so hearing that our students were not going to go hungry, absolutely, that made me feel 100% better. But also hearing the impact of if we don't start charging, what that will do. So if you could go into a little bit more detail about what taking funds from the M&O fund would actually do, so that people can kind of weigh what we're looking at.
Yeah, great question. The M&O fund already has a lot of burden. You know, we get a 2% inflation factor annually from the state, and we know real inflation is much greater than 2%. We also have a ton of unfunded mandates. When they implement minimum wage, it's a great thing, but we feel pressures on minimum wage annually that cost money, and there's no additional funding for that. We've seen a lot of shifts in just the economics of how we employ staff, which is why we give aggressive raises, because we're competing against the public sector for everything from teachers to bus drivers and everything in between. We've seen big shifts in the cost of technology. We used to be able to buy some technology equipment once and it was good for 5 to 10 years. Now it's really like a utility. We have to pay annual licenses on every technology piece of equipment. That's an annual burden on M&O. Special education is a big cost. Our special education has a funding gap between the cost of goods and services and the funding formula, and our population of special education students grows every year, and that divide kind of grows. So adding another draw on M&O that's already very difficult to handle all of the things that we have to fund with M&O, I think would just be a big challenge. It would also shift our view in the food service fund from being a healthy, vibrant fund that can train staff and reach for gold standards on our meal offerings to really be all about the dollar, because the impact on the dollars that could be going to instruction are now diverted to the food service program. So those are some thoughts on that.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for putting together a presentation that had data that was easy to understand. When y'all first brought this to us, it was not this clear, right? Seeing an actual benchmarking, right, and where we would potentially fall with proposed changes is huge. And kind of seeing a breakdown of the meals, again, that's data. We like numbers up here. So thank you for putting this together. I know you guys spent a lot of quality time together working this thing out. So
yeah, Jason's been busy.
I appreciate that. I've got a guy that I work with. His kids go to Combs, and I was kind of picking his brain today as we were kind of had a little bit of time in the company vehicle today, and he told me, only had 1 year of free lunches around, or meals around COVID. Yeah, it kind of shocked me. So, like, I don't remember who it was, but someone said, kind of stretching that and having that. We had a fund that had some reserves in it that we're able to kind of use for the purpose of what it was for, right? So thank you for putting this together.
Mr. Harmon, thanks for putting that slide back up, because I really wanted to look at that too. What is our current outstanding meal account balance, the total?
Negative charges, student charges?
Yeah, what they owe us, yes.
I believe I might have that here. One second.
He might have known I was going to ask the question.
Last week it was about 7,300 as of today. As of yesterday, it's That's $6,400. And compare that to other districts, which I know you didn't even ask this, but we really limit how negative students go after, and Jason could correct me, but after 2 or 3 meals of negative balances, they'll be given an alternate meal instead.
Yeah.
And that keeps our negative balances very tight, which is great.
Mr. Harmon, what do we do with that balance at the end of the school year?
So at a certain point, and I think this just happened a couple weeks ago, we no longer allow negative charges at a certain point of the year and send out information for parents to true that balance up. And we never send to collections or anything like that. So some of these balances will linger and will go from grade to grade. Occasionally they'll even come, be there whenever they graduate, and we'll work on.
But a negative student account does not prohibit any student from graduating, correct?
We've never done that, no.
Sorry, real quick. We're still doing the summer lunch program as well?
We are, yeah.
That's not getting cut?
No, and that's a federal program.
Yes.
That the meals are free for everyone.
Okay.
That's in June.
And we're reimbursed for all meals.
Yeah.
And that's just for the, for June, correct?
Yeah, just the month of June. It's 4 weeks.
I should know
Sorry.
too,
I
but
have 2
don't.
kids. I know, because we go.
Yeah.
We do that.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Harmon, I'm looking at this comparison, which, thank you so very much for putting together. And I'm a little taken aback. I don't want to be higher than Tempe Union or Chandler in my lunch program. Because we would be the highest charge in lunch. But granted, I know that we would be less in breakfast. Ultimately, together, if people got both, we would be okay. It's just, I am still struggling with going from 0 to 2. And I understand Member Lopez's viewpoint of like ripping off the Band-Aid and just doing it now. But some families might have a hard time ripping off that Band-Aid for a 200% increase in breakfast. So I'm still struggling with that. I do appreciate all the options and seeing that. That really is very helpful. And I understand. We don't want to take from M&O to do this. We want this to continue to be a self-sustainable program. But I'm wondering if a staggered, tiered, it will cost us next year, but then getting up to that point, that's where I'm at right now.
What would be the immediate impact of staggering? Is there something that we would not be able to do? You said that first step is 80. It'll impact, we'll have to spend 80,000?
There it is. There's the.
Yeah, I think if ultimately, if we know where we need to be, if it's a staggered approach that gets there in more than 1 year, then it makes this burden to M&O not necessarily an ongoing cost, but a one-time cost, and we approach those things very differently. So if we could get there over a course or a path that the board would support, we can work with that.
So then my follow-up question to that is, how do we know if we do stagger it and we get to that point, that when we're at that point, we don't need to now raise it again and keep the stagger going and then keep that deficiency going in M&O? And that's probably an answer we don't have.
No.
But in theory, if we need to, if the costs increase by 3 to 5% every single year, a 3 to 5% increase is much smaller than what we're proposing, because we haven't increased. We've increased 7% in 8 years, with 3 to 5% annual growth in that same time period. So over this staggered approach, and every year that we kind of move away from COVID, we'll have clearer and clearer data. I don't think it would be a mystery on what the future changes would need to be.
And out of the 40% that either do not qualified or applied. It might encourage those that have not applied, because we don't know who has it to apply.
Right.
Given the fact that they know that next year it's going to be a small cost, but the year after that, it's going to go up. So I better apply.
Right.
And then it wouldn't cost them anything.
Right.
So it might be a little more incentive.
Or motivation.
Motivation, yes.
Madam Chair, I do want to state that I'm in agreement with your comments. I'm also concerned with, again, just placing this on the parents and the families at the proposed rate right off the bat. I, too, am concerned in regards to, most of our families have more than one student, and they have them at different levels, whether, they're infants, newborns, toddlers, elementary, middle school, high school, whatever. I'm also concerned with that. And I understand and I agree that the cost of living and, groceries, gas, everything is just going up. It's not going to go down. And I do want to make it affordable for the families. And I do appreciate the fact that no student will be turned away or that they will go hungry. Thank you for that. And I agree this would be a motivating factor for families who haven't applied or take advantage of the program. Hopefully they will, but for the record, I would like to see a staggered in the pricing or in the costs. And hopefully the parents or the families can budget accordingly rather than be hit with one, because I'd hate for them to have to think, well, what do I got to pay, this or that. And I think with the staggered, that'll give them time to budget, be prepared, and again, the opportunity to take advantage of the program. Thank you.
And although we make sure that no student ever goes away hungry, there is a stigma to walking away with a cold lunch versus a hot lunch. Those kids feel that. And I don't want those kids to have to do that, because there is a stigma to that.
So with that, then, going back to the fiscally responsible part, everything that everyone is saying, I agree with. On the flip side of that, the negative numbers, the numbers that we're seeing in red, going back to the M&O, are we then re-looking at our budget to say, okay, now we're negative 320,000 from what we projected? What are we going to take away? Like, how does that affect the already approved budget, and is it sustainable?
So again, if it's a staggered approach, then it's a one-time cost, and we have contingency funds to handle one-time things that are not recurring revenue levels that we can spend every year. These would be like a savings account that we could handle, this staggered approach over, a 1 to 3 year period of time to get us to where this program is sustainable. We absolutely can afford it. We're not going to sacrifice any ongoing programs or people. We would use our one-time contingency funds for this contingency.
So then what would we want? Does it then come back to, what do we want to do? We want to do 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? Because it sounds like 3 years is about the max, right? Before we need to be at that $4.25 and the $2.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that would then change, right? If that's currently at 425, so if we're talking about 3 years from now, then we would have to do a whole nother analysis, right? 425 probably won't be.
The student lunch, if we approved the student lunch to be the 50-cent increase, it would be $4.25.
Yeah.
If we staggered the breakfast for 3 years.
Oh, I'm sorry, my apologies. The breakfast.
Yeah.
So if we stagger the breakfast for $2, will we be, I would assume that we would be looking at a different cost then. The cost of living and things will have changed. So
But
it's
that's what I asked him, and no, we've got a period of time where it stays about the same, and this is more than what that would be in a few years.
If I may, I think a simple solution was, let's come up with an alternative recommendation, approval, and then spring of next year, we'll reevaluate all of our labor costs and we can see where we're at, and we can see what the next step of that staggered approach is, and just kind of take it 1 year at a time. That might be a simple solution.
Yep. Thoughts, Mr. Owens?
All right.
That turkey sandwich is sounding good right about now.
You know, I could totally go for a turkey
Yeah, I
sandwich,
really
yeah. So, I don't know. There's laws around what we can and can't do outside of sitting up here, right? I haven't talked to anyone about
Nope, we have not.
where, you know, what everyone's thinking on this, right? So, let's make a deal. All right?
Let's negotiate. What you
All
got?
right. So, and this math, Mr. Harmon, is not specifically on here.
Okay, I got you.
All right, good deal. But I can I think I can figure this thing out, okay? So, let's start with breakfast. What do y'all think about $1? Okay, I'm not asking for a
Right.
a poll, right? Okay, $1 for breakfast, and I'm with Ms. Coutre, or President Coutre. I hate being the highest in the
costs.
in the costs, yep. Could we do $1 for breakfast for the next year and $4 for lunch, Mr. Harmon? Would that, if I'm kind of doing my math right, and I may have to go back to Mr. Marcus, or Mr. Mitchell, sorry.
Class.
Yeah, and join his math class.
I mean, I already did the math on a quarter if you want to know what it is.
Of course.
Or you want to take a stab at it?
120?
It's going to cost us about $57,000. And it's based on how many meals that we serve. We serve about 220,000 meals or something, and so
Okay.
it's 25% of that cost. So I think it's a great compromise.
So,
That's just
so kind of just help me all make sure that we're all on the same page, okay? So if we do $1 for breakfast, $4 for lunch, okay? So it's raising $1 for breakfast and 25 cents for lunch. What does that look like to the impact on our
About a
M&O?
$217,000 impact to M&O on a one-time basis
A one-time
What was the number
For the
again?
year,
for the year.
for next year.
Yeah, for 1 year.
which would be,
About $217,294.25,
Nice job, Mr. Harmon.
give or take.
I was off, so I'm going to have to join Mr. Mitchell's math classes.
You just want to play with the cool tool.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
he
do.
does.
Yes, I do want to see the E-glass.
Yes.
That's a great compromise.
It's not, it's hitting our M&O more than I would really
But it's
like,
a one-time.
but
2 times.
Well, 2 times.
We'd
yeah.
have to do it more than
Yes.
1 year,
Right.
just keeping that in mind.
So 217 times 2.
No, every year.
This is the impact for
For
fiscal year
next fiscal year.
27.
1 year.
And then we'll
Yeah.
see what
We will
decisions are made
reevaluate.
a year from now for fiscal year 28.
We'll have more data next year. Mr. Harmon does a wonderful job with this stuff, so he
And
can
the first presentation will knock your socks off next year.
have all the answers for us. I really like that. I was thinking that same, those same figures, because I don't want to be the highest in that. And I think it may motivate some more families to apply. I think a lot of people think that they won't qualify, so why bother? So maybe if they just do it and they find out, then they find out. But at least, you know, you can't take a chance at it if you don't fill it out. So I really like that, Mr. Owens. And and I think for especially, it's showing that we're investing our monies into our students as well. Because we've been investing it into our staff, and we've always, and we will continue to do so. But I think this shows that, you know, we are very conscious of the economy to our families as well. And we don't want them to have a hardship. So I'm good with that. You negotiate very well.
Do I hear a motion?
Motion to change breakfast for the 26-27 school year to $1 and lunch to $4.
Second.
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye.
Lisa Garcia,
Aye.
Carolyn Lopez,
Aye.
Patty Cotray.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you. All right. Ooh, you're still up here. Okay, to consider, discuss, and amend if desired, and if deemed advisable, to adopt a resolution ordering and calling a special budget override election to be held in and for the district, declaring the deadline, submitting the for and against. Mr. Harmon, it's override time.
It's override time. Yeah, we have a action item before you to approve this resolution calling for a special budget override election to continue our M&O, our 10% M&O override. Happy to answer any questions you may have to call this election.
Okay, this is a 10% for, it would restart another 7-year cycle, correct?
That is correct.
Is this the official call for?
Yeah.
Okay. So 5 years, was it 5 years ago when we went out for the last, is that right?
Next year, we are in the 5th year, the 5th and final fully funded year. So
Okay.
this November election is the final opportunity to continue that before we go into the 28 fiscal year and receive about a $2.5 million reduction in funding. Overrides are fully funded for 5. In year 6, they are reduced by a third. Year 7, they're reduced by a third. And then 8, they're reduced by that final third, or all funding is no longer available.
So last time, and actually the past 2 times, I do believe, right? The override funded, it was very, very specific. This isn't funding needless or raises, that kind of thing. Am I correct?
This funds teachers, it funds class sizes, RAM Academy, some technology, there's some counselors, some TOSAs, but predominantly teachers.
It's a continuation of our current budget.
Yep.
Budget override. So our override stated, so every time we go back to continue it, we're not changing the focus of what we're spending the money on. It remains the same. And it has for the, for the last time so.
Yep, I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure that
Oh, yeah.
everyone knew that we're, as Dr. Lopman says, we're hyper-focused
Yep.
on these 3 areas, and that is all this money goes for. And it's not a tax, not an additional tax.
It'll maintain
Right.
an existing tax rate.
It's already what it's not going to change anybody's
Yep.
tax statements.
Yep.
It will continue to
Yep.
go on. Any more questions? Any more discussions? Oh, you guys are easy. Okay, motion?
There's no other questions. I motion to approve.
Second.
Lisa, we have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens,
Aye.
Lisa Garcia,
Aye.
Carolyn Lopez,
Aye.
Patty Cotray.
Aye. Looks like we're going for an override. All right, next item. Approve to adjourn into executive session pursuant to ARS 38431-03 for the discussion and consideration of the superintendent's quarterly progress evaluation. Dr. Loatman, you have the option if you want to do this in open or in executive.
Executive session.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Motion to go into executive session?
I'll second.
Lisa, I have a motion, a second.
Shante Rush.
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye.
Lisa Garcia.
Aye.
Carolina Lopez.
Aye.
Patty Cotray.
Aye, we are in executive session, it's 8:26.
I don't think you want to. Thank you. Are you okay with that?
Oh, thank you, thank you.